So hello everyone. आज हमारे साथ today we have with us Ratandeep, who has been selected for Puma. He is gonna be joining Puma soon. So Ratandeep, सबसे पहले congratulations for getting into Puma. I think it's one of your dream company, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Right. So how did you felt once you got shortlisted and got offer letter from Puma?
Oh, I was over the moon, sir. First of all, I actually thought that the rounds were not like I did not perform as like I would have liked, but then finally I got the offer letter, so I was over the moon.
Right. Great. So, Ratan, just wanted to know how did you applied for this job? Since generally, ये सब companies, the students will be not able to find it over the campus or more on LinkedIn, right? So,
Yes.
how did you able to find this out?
So first of all, my entire journey, like after CA, is very good because of CM Monk. So I started out with JR 22. So I was part of the JR 22, where immediately after exams get over, I joined that batch. Through that, I was able to meet my mentors. So Yuganta sir was my he's still the best mentor I've got. Anything ever, I'll message him out. So he created there's a group called finance. So you pick out domains low. So you have this elective you pick out. So I had picked out finance domain. So they create WhatsApp group. Sir sends you regular updates regarding jobs. One of the jobs. So entire list was given out. Out of them, one of them was for Puma. So through that I had applied. So yeah, a lot of credit goes to CM Monk, obviously.
Got it. Great. So after you applied for it, how was the interview process defined for Puma? मतलब how many rounds of an interview was there?
So we applied immediately after results. So I think after results around 1 week the slots were open. So we got the link through LinkedIn. We applied the basics. We had to upload our resumes. We had to just state out what was the number of attempts we took, all that. And in the first week of August, we got a reply from one of the HRs. So we got a reply that our profile has been selected. So this is the package we are offering. And next test a link, you'll get a link wherein you'll have to attend the test. Afterwards, remaining procedures will go out. So we had like 4 rounds. So there was 4 rounds. The first round was typical test. So you had an online test. It was a 1 hour session. So you had a lot of questions, but out of them 80% was totally behavioral questions. So you had 4 options. There is no right or wrong. So there is just agree, strongly disagree, or you strongly agree, some like 4 options. And they were like, do you take initiative? So do you get will you take an opportunity to lead the team if opportunity permits? Are you kind of a person who takes leadership? Those kind of scenarios. So you have to agree, disagree. You have to just type it out. And 20% of the questions were predominantly just like logical reasoning, aptitude tests. So that 20% you can anyway refer the CM Monk free courses section is there. So I used to do that all the time. So whenever I used to find time, I used to do that. So that part was strong for me. And remaining behavioral anyway, anyone can deal with. There's no right or wrong answers. And then I got shortlisted for that next round. So next round was with the senior manager. So for me, the round was taken by Abhiraj Gupta sir. So he's the senior manager of the finance team, wherein he tells the wholesale team. So I got around with him. And here again, it's totally different. He did not ask me index. He did not ask me tax. He did not ask me audit. He did not ask me anything. So we started off with the basic questions. Obviously, you'll have to prepare yourself for tell me about yourself, all that. But my point of view was that I had researched a lot about Puma. So what happened with Puma? What are the recent developments coming up? Who are their brand ambassadors? That was one of the questions he asked me. Like who are the brand ambassadors? So I was like, okay, I told him everything because I'm aware, because I'm very interested in sports. I know all from Formula 1 till football. I knew everything. And then he asked me tell me about Puma India ambassadors. So then I told him about the cricket people are there, and then there's Yuvraj Singh. So I was thoroughly researched. So that part was very easy for me. And then he asked me like, why do you want to join Puma? Why not somewhere else? And then I had researched about him beforehand. I got the interview link, and his name was mentioned. So I researched about like where he had worked and how his journey was. So I asked questions regarding that, like how was your journey from here to Puma? Like any advice you want to give me? So that was pretty easy for me. I did not have any major technical, predominantly focused on resume, articleship experience, and Puma. So why Puma? Why not somewhere else? So those kind of things. And the next round was the hardest one. So this next one was absolutely it was very hard for someone like freshers because we were given a case study. So the case study, I think, sir, you can share the case study.
I think we'll try to avoid sharing the case study. Otherwise,
so the case study brief, if I have to explain the case study, there was 2 questions in the case study. One was, so we were given financial statements of 2 companies. Okay. So first scenario was, how would you increase the profitability of one organization? So they were making huge sales, but their profit was not so good. They were not profitable. So the scenario was you had to turn profitable. That was first case. Second was impact of cash flow statement. So the expense, if the expense is reduced by a certain amount, what would be the impact of cash flow? That pretty much all everyone can deal with. It's not a problem. The first part was really hard part. And thing is, you had to prepare a PowerPoint presentation. And I think you were given 2 days. So Saturday, Sunday was given for us, and Monday we had to upload it. And then afterwards, in Tuesday, the interview is scheduled with the CFO. So
Okay.
preparing the presentation is big deal because we haven't worked a lot with PPT. But then once you prepare that, the next biggest hurdle is like explaining it to CFO of so he is an executive director and CFO of Puma India organization. So explaining it to him, his questions is totally different. So that was the hardest part. So after I dealt with that, then it was I was called for the final round. That was the director. So she was the head and organization head for Puma India. So there I was just asked like why Puma, about Puma. So they were trying to find out like am I a right fit for the organization in terms of culture? So Puma is a totally different in terms of regular culture. So they have extremely good culture. So there is no sir, there is no ma'am. You call everyone by their names. So the office is pretty open. You can see what everyone is doing. Nobody tells you to come. So she explained the culture. So I knew I was the right fit beforehand. So I knew everything. I researched about it before, and I talked to a few people. They told me this is the things going to happen. So I already visioned myself in that organization beforehand. So that was my first. So it was pretty. These 4 rounds were there, and yeah, that was how it went. So it was huge. I think it took around 25 days or something. So yeah.
Got it, got it, got it. And in fact, I can see the loyalty by the way you're wearing the Puma.
I've been a fan of Puma since long back, sir. So sports, I've been hugely into sports. So Puma is been a grand long back.
Right. I'll come to you when I need to buy something for Puma. Ask for your employee discount code.
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Right. That's great. That's great, right? So, since it took a lot of time and a lot of duration for this, and interview preparation is far more different as compared to the other normal interviews. So, what all things you
Yes,
kept in mind when you were preparing for Puma? What all things you kept in mind when you were preparing for Puma?
So the preparation usually starts beforehand. So first of all, you have to get your resume shortlisted. You have to have knowledge of technique, like aptitude tests and all. So I was part of GIR, so my resume was top notch. So there was no question with my resume was never rejected anywhere. So nobody faulted for anything in resume. So resume was sorted out, and then technique aptitude test is something. So you have this free courses also available. So with you go to the website, you get a lot of tests. I solved that. So first round, immediately getting my resume shortlisted was not a problem, and then the test part also was not a problem. So afterwards really comes into how you prepare for the company. So you will have to you have to research a lot. First of all, there are general questions which everyone knows. People don't prepare that. They're just like, we'll do it on the spot. You can't do it. So you'll have to prepare yourself. Tell me about yourself beforehand. First of all, what I used to do was, because I knew that questions like at least 30 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes used to be about me. Tell me about yourself, and then articleship experience, all that shit. Like, how were you spending your last 2 months? So I was talking about CM. I was like, I was doing this, I was meeting people, I was networking, I met a lot of mentors. That creates a positive impression. They know that you've been networking with a lot of people. They know that you want to be social. So that gives a positive impression for them. And then there is the last part of it, which again creates a huge impression. Any questions for me? Like just 2 questions. What is the package? That is useless. If you ask what is the package, they're like, what is the point? You have to research thoroughly who the interviewer is. If you know in hand before, like how was his journey after being a CA, it helps a lot. You can ask him how his journey from this company to this company. Any advice for someone who's fresh like me? So you can ask about that, and you can ask about Puma's culture. So like I asked about a lot of Puma's culture, like how would the working culture be? Would I be interacting with a lot of seniors? Like, because it's an open org. One thing I was told was even though they're profitable, it still operates like a startup. So first thing I asked them is, will I be able to talk with CFOs regularly? Will I get an opportunity to talk with senior leaders? They're like, yes, we have a separate scenario. So they are hugely into sports. So they have a separate PSL, wherein Puma Sports League something. So wherein you participate in a lot of sports, you can interact with a lot of different people from different streams of it. So they told me all about that. So those things, making them talk as much as possible helps out a lot. So the interview is just 30 minutes. So that is what I focus on. So research about the company thoroughly, especially sports brand, know about their ambassadors. So they will definitely ask you, who are our ambassadors? And they'll ask you about your sporting journey. So do you follow sports? Are you someone who just studied like for the past 5 years and did not do anything else, or are you into fitness? Are you into sports? So that is some of the thing you have to research properly, and that would be sorted. So company like Puma, that was my target, and it worked out properly.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Great, great, great. And a lot of people are trying to get into some niche profile like this, right? And a lot of people are also wanted to get into the roles like this, right? So generally, I think they must have offered you some management trainee role or finance
Yes,
trainee role.
yes, finance trainee role, yes.
Acha, got it, got it. So generally, the companies like this are gonna be offering you the finance trainee role or management trainee role because they want you to see as a CFO or
Yes,
the top-notch leader after 10 years down the line. So that is why they offer you this role, right? The people, those who are trying for this roles, right, definitely can try to network. Networking, as I feel like 80% of vacancies fill with networking,
yes, yes.
right? That is what I can prove it out. And Ratandeep got a job from networking itself from our GI workshop and stuff, right? So the people are supposed to do network on LinkedIn, multiple platforms, whenever they meet out people. Generally, we as a chartered accountants are very much introvert, which I feel,
Yes.
right? So the people, those who are watching this, try to network with more and more people because that is something which is going to be helping
No,
you to grow.
actually, even though we don't get a lot of opportunity, so first thing there is opportunity, but then you have platforms like CM Monk, wherein I was like, I did not network a lot before in hand. So 3 years, I did not know much other than my boss and my article friends.
Hmm.
Just after results, I joined CM Monk. I think I have so many groups, so many people who message me constant basis. I don't think I've networked this much even during my college days as well. So that is one thing. Even opportunity is there, people need to grab it with both hands. So that is one thing I feel like people miss out.
That's true. So which location they are offering you as in?
So it's typical now. It's in Bangalore. So the corporate office in Bangalore. The location in itself is Bangalore, but then they have offices in Indiranagar. They have office in two to three locations. So I don't. I've still haven't got exactly which place, but yeah, I've just been mentioned Bangalore. So I stay in Bangalore, so it's not really a problem for me.
Oh, great, 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 great. So we are planning a meetup in Bangalore. We'll definitely catch up.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
And really happy to hear your feedback out and your experience with the Puma. Right, we'll be definitely happy to have you as a mentor soon. Right, where
Yeah.
you can explain our students out how they are supposed to apply and
Yes.
build their career out. Right, any pro tip or final tip for our students before we conclude? Since I think you've given a lot of interviews, right, and you have able to crack it out. So any pro tip?
Pro tip I'd say is like do your research. So it you can study your taxation, you can study your Indies as much as you want, but at the end of the day, they're not going to ask you for more than 10 minutes about that. It's good to have technical knowledge, but then again, a lot of other factors come into play. So do your research about company. They will always ask you like why this company, why not the other company, why this industry, why not other industry. So what can you bring to the table? So know about the company. So know what they want from you. So if you know that, you will be able to sell that properly. I was huge sports guy. I was huge fitness guy. So I was easily able to sell that. I was like, I'm into fitness. I can do this. I can do that. So they know that I'm the right fit for the culture. So once you show them that you are the right fit for them, it's easy. So you are going to be there one among them. So yeah, so
Right.
just do your research properly.
Right. So great, great. I think Rathadev, really thank you for joining in for the session and giving an insightful insight about your
In,
interview preparations. Right. Definitely those who are watching this video out, right, please do share your comments in the comment section. And if you feel like you want more videos regarding a specific company, specific domain, just write it down over a comment section. We'll be happy to have a session with our students, those who are getting placed. Right. Thanks, Rathandeep, once again for
Thank you so
joining in.
much. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.